Hey guys, so a few of you have requested me to drive the Grapevine. That for those who don't know, that's Interstate 5. It's the hill that goes over the Tehachapi's. I'll post up some expected weather. I don't have a whole lot to do tonight, so I figure, I got a full charge, so I'll go ahead and see what happens with that track energy. It's not going to be too cold, only down into the mid 30s probably while I'm there. But Bakersfield is going to be about 100 miles away, and I'll try and also test out. So on the agenda today is just drive the Grapevine, see what that's like, see what the energy consumption is, test out the charger at the Walmart Supercenter, in Bakersfield. And I realized that I'd sort of screwed up in some of my estimates, and someone, had asked about the charging rate in the forums, and I wasn't really keeping a good eye on what the state of charge of the battery was versus the amount of power that was being recharged on a DC fast charger. So this is a 125 amp, which is the fastest I have available, so it should be pretty consistent. And yeah, I'll be checking to see what the point at which the charge starts to throttle down again. I believe it's closer to about 65% state of charge, where it throttles down to maybe 35 kilowatts, but we'll verify that. And yeah, and just kind of see how the drive goes. So I'll also just sort of track, the estimations and things like that. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm not gonna waste too much more time. That's the other thing people have requested. I've tried to keep things a little bit faster paced, so I'll do that. All right, guys. Hey guys. So I just wanted to check in. I'm actually in Fraser Park right now. My my dad always used to like to stop at this Flying J's. Anyway, yeah, so the reason I'm stopping here is I want to use the bathroom really quick, and I want to, maybe I'll grab a snack or something to, patrons only. Anyway, the thing is it's kind of literally downhill from here. So basically an electric car, if you can make it this far, you can make it the rest of the way. So I kind of wanted to just go over the energy numbers. I mean, you can see what the temperatures drop down to. It's quickly dropping. It was 40s for a lot of the way, but then it rapidly dropped down into the 30s. Um, but yeah, you can see it's not very efficient. 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. In my volt, this would be I'd be getting about 26 miles to the gallon on the internal combustion engine. Um, just the average, as you can see right now. Um, this is probably just from my slowdown actually, because I just came over the hill, and then you can see the outside temperature is pretty bad, and actually for whatever reason it's not really considering the terrain too bad. So but anyway, these are the numbers you can kind of expect just getting up to the top of the hill, coming from like the Santa Clarita side, so going northbound. All right all right, well guys, we made it. So this is kind of what you can expect energy wise to get here. Um, so at about pretty close to 50% capacity. Interesting note, I could probably, if better weather, I could actually probably make it all the way to Fresno on a single charge. So that's something to keep note of. Again, you see that's the errant coming down the Grapevine. A lot of energy recouped. And then the score improved. But something to note here too is, from what I've read, some of the smaller battery vehicles can actually, once they charge up on here, can actually make it back up the Grapevine if they like stay in the slow lane or whatever. Well, I'm not going to stay in the slow lane. So, I mean, technically, I could make it back just with the charge that I have. But I'm going to recharge anyway. This kind of puts me in an awkward spot though, because I do want to see what the when it turns over to, I believe it throttles down to about 35 kilowatts of charging once it hits, I think it's about 65% capacity, but I need to use the EVgo charger to be able to tell me when that is. right? Because the Bolt EV doesn't really have an indicator as to exactly what your state of charge is. Anyway, so I'm gonna go take care of that and get charging. All right, guys. So it looks like I have my answer, and my answer for the fellow member on the forum. I just hit about 55% state of charge before it looks like it throttled down to 36 kilowatts. All right, guys. So it looks like, yeah, it's up to 76% state of charge now when it shut off after the 30 minutes. So yeah, and yeah, it looks like it's already throttled back down to 24 kilowatts. So it looks like I've just verified what I thought was the case, that that it looks like it throttles at 55% state of charge down to 35 kilowatts, and at 75 percent state of charge it throttles down to the 24 kilowatts. So that's good to know. All right, guys. So the it throttled down, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave now. I have about 150 miles of minimum charge left, 152 according to this. I should have more than enough. I mean, I only have about 120 miles, 125 miles to drive. So anyway, I'm gonna shut it down and head out. Okay, guys. So I'm done with the trip. I'm uh, I'm back, and yeah, you'll notice I used the climate a little bit. That was almost more to test. It was between 35 and 40 degrees. Like for a few miles, it was about 34, and so I turned the heater on just to see how well it functioned. It did fine. This is also part of the reason I was charging. Notice, I mean, it's 213 miles, so I guess I wouldn't have been able to make it back driving the way I was driving. Um, but yeah, you'll notice that last right at that 50-mile mark, that's where I was coming back off the hill, and then from there, it was much less efficient. So um, just freeway speeds. So yeah, but either way, I was gonna say that the Bolt EV seems to handle the Grapevine very easily. In better weather, you could probably start where I started and make it all the way to Fresno if that was your destination without actually stopping in between. But yeah, so and as luck would have it, it turns out there's a Walmart just a few miles from my apartment, so I didn't even need to go out there. What the heck?